Hello everyone, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do this super fun tag that I've seen a lot of people do recently that is called the reread, rewrite, or burn tag. It's based off of the F, Marry, Kill game that goes around where pretty much I'm going to be drawing 3 books from this little pile that I have of all recent reads of mine. They're either books that I read this year in 2021 or books that I read last year in 2020. For each group of 3, I'm going to say which of the books I would like to reread, which of the books I would like to rewrite, and which of the books I would like to burn. Hope you don't mind my very bare bookshelf. I'm currently in the middle of a move, so these are only books that I still have here and have not packed up yet. But anyways, I wasn't able to find who the original creator of the tag was. If I am able to find it, I'll link it down below. But let's just get into it and pick our first group of books. 1, 2, 3. All right, so the first book we have, these are really little pieces of paper, is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is like a YA thriller series I'm sure you guys know about. Next we have Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker. This is an adult thriller. Ooh, I liked both of those books. And then we have Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Oh my gosh, I loved all of these books. I think these are all 5-star books. Oh no, actually, okay. Oh shoot. No, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Okay. I think the one I would burn would be Eliza and Her Monsters. I hate doing that. I really hate doing that because I remember this book. I just remember really enjoying it and really like touching me, and I related to it a lot, and is like a moving book. But thrillers, there's something about thrillers that like are just so exciting. I think maybe I would say rewrite Truly Devious. Even though I really loved it, I believe I gave 5 stars to the first book and the second one. I just feel like the concept of having like 3 books in the series, if you didn't know, Truly Devious is a trilogy. I feel like having like 3 books in the trilogy, I don't know, like you probably could have shortened up into 1 book maybe. I don't know if it had to change something. And then Emma in the Night, I'm gonna say reread because this was a thriller that I really enjoyed the plot twist, and I feel like in situations where there's good plot twists, it would be fun to reread those books. Even though the plot twist won't have the same impact, just to sort of like look back on like how everything fits together with that knowledge of what the twist is gonna be. I think that's always kind of fun. So there we go. That was a hard one to start out with though. So next pairing, 1, 2, 3. So we have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. So this is a YA contemporary that's really cute. It has to do with like Twitter and like social media wars. Then Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. If you guys don't know, I had a couple hot takes about this one and it wasn't really my favorite. Then we have My Dark Vanessa. I think the author was Kate Elizabeth or something like that. This was an adult contemporary book, I guess. It had to do with like sexual assault, like a teacher-student relationship. So a very like dark book. Okay, I think for sure I'm gonna reread Tweet Cute because of these 3. Like that was the most fun book and the one that I enjoyed the most. I'm gonna say rewrite My Dark Vanessa because I thought it was a really good book. Really interesting like message and character study into Vanessa and what it's like being a student manipulated and groomed by your teacher. But it was very hard to read at times, which I do think that part's necessary, but it also is a very lengthy book, so I think that's how I would rewrite it, would be like make it shorter. And then the book I'm gonna burn is Get a Life Chloe Brown, which is probably an unpopular opinion. I know most people love that book, but that was an easier one. All right, next we have 1, 2, and 3. I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. So you guys are probably familiar with this thriller book. It was adapted into a movie. Very like psychological thriller. Don't really know how else to describe that quickly. Then we have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. So this was the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, which is a fantasy series. And then I pulled Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. So I actually read this book for a video where I was reading my best friend's books. I wouldn't normally have chose this book myself. Oh god. Okay. I think I'm gonna say reread. I'm thinking of ending things. I really enjoyed my reading experience with this book, and it is one of those books, as I said again, that has a big plot twist at the end. And I've heard multiple people say that it's even better reading it the second time when you can like notice all the little hints and stuff. Then for the other two is where I'm sort of unsure. I think I would maybe rewrite Queen of Shadows. If you guys have watched my videos recently, you'll hear me talk about this series because I'm currently reading it, but I just find the Throne of Glass books to be way too long, and there's just a lot of things that I would change, so mostly due to the length and just the way these books were put together, I guess. And then I would burn Emergency Contact. Hopefully my friend doesn't get too mad at me because she really loved this book, but I found that it was definitely slow at points. I guess just didn't really leave like a lasting impact on me. It was very like average read. So okay, next one. I don't think I've been showing you guys, but here you go. Layla by Colleen Hoover. Okay, I really love this book. It was a paranormal romance. This is another book that had some good twists as well. Loveless by Alice Oseman. Another really great book. This is a YA contemporary about this young girl who is figuring out her sexuality and whether she is asexual and aromantic. So some great representation there. Then we have Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Morena Garcia. So instantly I know I'm gonna burn Mexican Gothic, no offense, Sylvia. I just remember this being like a very average read for me. I thought it was interesting reading a Gothic book because I don't really read that genre much, but there are definitely slow points and it definitely got very weird. So we'll burn that one. No, I don't know what to do. Layla or Loveless? This actually might contradict the ratings that I had given them, but I think I might just rewrite Loveless. I'm not really sure what I would rewrite about it. I remember my friend having a critique about it being pretty like lengthy, I think she said. I don't know if I noticed that, but Layla, I honestly don't even know what I would change about it. So that's why I think I'm gonna reread Layla. Again, Layla with the plot twist, I think it would be interesting to reread knowing what's actually going on and like the context of it. All right. So first we have Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas. This is another Throne of Glass book. Then we have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So this was a like adult contemporary, or it was a historical fiction actually, sorry, dealing with like family matters, racial issues, stuff like that. And then The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. Okay. So I think we're gonna burn Heir of Fire. I think Heir of Fire was my least favorite book in the Throne of Glass series. I just had some issues with it. Regarding length, as I already mentioned, regarding like characterization, introducing characters halfway through the series, stuff like that. Then I think I'll rewrite The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. Even though I really like this one, I think I gave it 4 stars. It's a pretty decent YA mystery. I feel like there could have been more done with this one. Plot twist is pretty decent, but I feel like maybe the characterization could have been better, or like the build up or something. It's also pretty short, so maybe it could have been like longer or something like that to get you more invested. The one I'm gonna reread is The Vanishing Half. While there were some slow moments in it, mostly in the beginning, I remember absolutely loving this book, especially the middle of it. I guess if I was gonna rewrite this one, I would maybe change the ending because it was a little lackluster, but overall I think it would be pretty enjoyable to reread this one, as it was like a 5-star read and it just was so amazing. Definitely recommend that one. Back to my draw. So now we have 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, a very recent read of mine that I'm doing for the Grishaverse read along leading up to this show. This is like a heist book. It's fantasy, pretty decent read. Sweet Bitter by Stephanie Danler. I read this for reading books recommended for Libras, right? I think so. This was kind of an interesting read. It was a pretty unique story. It was like a contemporary about this girl who's like a waitress in New York, I think, and just like that sort of lifestyle. Then we have In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. So this is a contemporary romance that takes place around the Christmas time. Okay, we have some pretty average reads here. I don't think any of these were 5 stars. Okay, I don't really want to reread any of these. I'm thinking about it. I guess I would reread 6 of Crows. I think this was the highest rated one out of these. Since I just read the book like this month, I'm not really itching to reread it right now, but I could see myself potentially wanting to reread it, I guess, because all the characters are really great in that series. I would maybe rewrite Sweet Bitter. One of the things I disliked about it, I believe, was the main character being so unlikable, and I think I wasn't a big fan of the ending either. It's hard for me to remember exactly, but yeah, I guess I would rewrite Sweet Bitter, and then I'll be burning in a Holidays. There's definitely things I would rewrite about in Holidays too, but it would probably be a lot. It would be a lot of major changes to this book, so we're just gonna burn that one. All right. Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So this is a thriller book about a girl in this apartment, and there's some mysterious things going down there. Night Film by Marisha Pessel. This is another like thriller, creepy book, kind of like a crime book. Very long, very interesting. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. So we have 3 thrillers for this one, and I really did enjoy all of these ones, but I think in terms of burning, I would burn the Night Film. Even though I do like this book, I do recommend it. It was so long. For a thriller book especially, like I understand fantasy books being long, but this is definitely the longest thriller book I've ever read, and I don't think it was completely necessary. Then, which did I enjoy more? Then I would say rewrite Lock Every Door. While I really adore Riley Sager's writing style, and I just really have enjoyed his books that I've read, the ending was definitely lackluster for me. It was something that I had guessed. Like the twist was not super surprising for me. I basically figured it out. So I guess I would rewrite it to be more unpredictable. And then I would reread The Family Upstairs, although again, I read it semi-recently, so wouldn't really look forward to that. But I think it would be my favorite of these 3, and I would recommend it. So now we have 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. So I was not huge fan of this, but basically it's a romance that again takes place during Christmas time. The Unidentified Redhead by Alice Clayton. Oh my gosh, we have multiple bad books in this draw. I read this for my vlog where I read books about redheads, or like 4 redheads, and this was just not for me. First of all, it was an older book, so it was very outdated, and then it was also like a smut book basically, which if you guys know, I'm not a fan of that. So, and last we have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. So I think obviously I'm gonna reread Anxious People. This I definitely think would be a good book to reread, as it has some twist elements, as I've said a million times in this video, that I think would be interesting to reread it under a different context. And it just was a really good book and gave you a lot of feelings. Then okay, then I would say let's just burn The Unidentified Redhead. It did not have much of a plot besides the romance and the smut. Just didn't like that. And then I'll rewrite 12 Dates of Christmas. This would need a lot of rewriting, but I think it could be possible because I liked the idea of this woman going on 12 different dates leading up to Christmas. I thought it was a really fun idea where you could have had a lot of fun with the different dates. There's been a lot of critique of this book, as you may have seen, and it just didn't do the idea justice. It was very predictable, and I found there was not enough like romance in it that I enjoyed. So I mean, hopefully I didn't do too many of these. Hopefully this isn't too long. Now we have The Lost Book of the Wife by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. So this was the second book in the Eldest Curses series, following Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood. Felt very so-so about that book. Then we have Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, which I love this book. It was a historical fiction, and I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. Oh, I picked 2 by accident, so we'll just go with this one. And it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, so, oh lord. I think I'm gonna reread Evelyn Hugo. This is one of my favorite books that I read last year. I just think it's such a unique story, learning about Evelyn Hugo. There's some great LGBT rep in there, and I just thought it was a very interesting historical fiction for someone who doesn't read historical fiction very much. Then we are going to rewrite Where the Crawdads Sing. As I said, it's a 5 stars, so wouldn't really change much, but there were definitely like slow moments in it, and I've seen some people not really enjoy this one and have some critiques about it, and I see where they're coming from, so we could rewrite that one a little bit. And then I would definitely burn The Lost Book of the White. I do love Cassandra Clare and the Shadowhunter Chronicles, but I just don't enjoy the books that are co-authored as much as the ones that just Cassie does. And this one was definitely a bit of a disappointment for me, so we're gonna burn that one. All right, let's try and go quick with the rest. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is obviously a classical novel. I read it for my reading books recommended for Libra's video last year. And then we have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This was a a very excellent thriller book, Origin by Dan Brown. I'm sure you guys know Dan Brown. He writes like crime, thriller books that have to do with like religion, history, stuff like that. So I think I would definitely reread Pretty Girls. This is a very excellent thriller that I read last year, having to do with missing girls, mystery, kind of like your typical thriller. Pretty graphic book, but it was a good one. Then I would rewrite Origin, although honestly I can't even think of what I would rewrite about this book, because I also really like the Dan Brown books, but maybe make it like shorter, make the intro a little better, because I think the intro was a little bit slow for me. And then I would burn The Picture of Dorian Gray. Sorry, Oscar Wilde. I stand by that. I like the idea of Dorian Gray, but classical books are just not for me. It was very boring for me to get through, so I'm gonna just burn that one. Come for me, English majors. Next we have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This was a more recent read of mine. That was a adult fantasy book. And then we have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So I think I'm gonna burn Shadow and Bone. It's very sad because I guess that means the rest of the series will not be created, but I feel like this book, you know, it's kind of outdated. It's from like 2012. The writing is not the best. Leigh Bardugo definitely, you know, improves over the years with her writing. So I think we'll just go ahead and burn her first book. Then I'm gonna go rewrite Night Circus. Even though I really thoroughly enjoyed this book, the writing could definitely be a little too flowery at points. It could be very slow at points. It definitely was creating like the atmosphere, and that's what it was really focusing on, but I feel like, you know, the characters or the romances or relationships could have had more attention in this book. There was a bit of insta-love, I'll say. And then reread would definitely be Daisy Jones. I'm so excited to reread this one day. I want to do the audiobook hopefully one day, because people say the audiobook is great just with the music and with the interview style, to have the different voices for all the different characters. I think it would be really good. And if I didn't mention, Daisy Jones is a historical fiction about this band from the 70s, and it's just a really great story. Very fun. Also heartbreaking. Okay, my camera just fell, so sorry if something has changed in the frame. Now I picked The Selection by Kira Cass. This is like a classic YA dystopian-esque book. Then we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This is a romance that gets pretty steamy as well. And then we have The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. This is like an adult rom-com, like a little British romantic comedy. I'm gonna say these are all kind of average reads, but I think The Selection is the one I would reread. I definitely thought this one was very fun, and it was very quick read. Obviously a little bit outdated, as it's more from that 2012 era as well, I believe. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the very like shallowness of the book. I think it's pretty fun, especially if you're a fan of like The Bachelor, Bachelorette. It definitely takes inspiration from that. Then I'm gonna rewrite The Rosie Project. Overall, I really enjoyed this book, but I remember there just being points where I'm like, I don't like this. I think that was at the beginning. I didn't really like it. Kind of wanted to DNF it, but ultimately was glad that I didn't. So that's why I would rewrite that one a little bit. And then I'm gonna burn The Kiss Quotient. I know people love it. I liked it as well in some parts, but as I said in this video already, I'm not really a huge fan of smutty books. That is why ultimately that one has to burn. Chain of Iron, one of my most recent reads by Cassandra Clare. Wonder where that one's gonna go. Legendborn. Oh, Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Another great YA fantasy book. The Honeymooners. No, I love all three of these books. Oh no. Okay. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to reread Chain of Iron. That's my gut. Like, that's one of my most recent reads, and it was 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. And obviously it's Cassie Clare. Like, we stan her. The other two, I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do, because I enjoy these books both so much. I think I give them both 4.5 stars. So close to perfect for both of them. I'm gonna have to rewrite Legendborn. The only major problem I had with that book was the info dumping, so if they could just rewrite that to not be as heavy on the info dumping, that would be great. And then burn The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm so sad about that, because I'm pretty picky when it comes to romances, and this was a romance I really adored, so it really pains me to burn it, but compared to the other 2 books, like, I guess that's what we have to do. I don't know. Okay, I definitely did too many of these. Now we have The Night Swim by Megan Golden. This was a thriller book, and it had to do with rape culture and a like true crime podcast that's following a court case for a rape case. Then we have, okay, The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is a very popular romance book, and it's like a hate to love romance story. Also an office romance, I should mention. And then our last one is Confessions by Kanae Minato. So this was a thriller book. I think it was based in Japan and translated from Japan, and is a very quick, interesting read. I'm going to reread The Night Swim. I think this is my highest rated book of these 3, and it was a very good thriller that I enjoyed. I think I would rewrite The Hating Game. A little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I found this book a little bit more problematic than some other people. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as a lot of people, so I'd probably just rewrite it to take out those aspects I didn't like, because I do like the whole idea of like a love to hate. Sorry, a hate to love, what am I saying? Romance. I think that is really cute. I love those tropes, but this book just didn't quite hit the mark for me. And then I think we're gonna burn Confessions, even though I thought it was really interesting, really unique book. I found it just got very repetitive, and there were some plot twists that I appreciated, but ultimately I'm just gonna burn it, I guess. 2 things left. Let's quickly do this. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller horror romance book from last year. Then we have Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, a romantic book. Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. Okay, we are ooh, but I didn't like When No One Is Watching either. But I think we're gonna burn Midnight Sun. I was a twihard back in the day, always will be at heart, but ultimately this book is kind of just unnecessary. Then we are definitely gonna rewrite When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I didn't love this book. I think it was overhyped. I do get that the idea of it was interesting. The whole gentrification, missing people thing, dealing with like racism and some real life issues. Then I'm gonna reread Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. As I said before, I can be picky with romance, but this was a romance I really enjoyed. It had some enemies to lovers. It didn't get too smutty or anything, so definitely enjoyed that one. Then we're left with the last 3 little papers, so let's see what we got. There is Beach Read by Emily Henry, another romance I really enjoyed, an adult romance about authors. It's enemies to lovers. The Bright Lands by John Fram. This was a thriller horror book that was pretty good. And then The Whisper Man by Alex North, another thriller. I think this one's gonna be pretty easy for me as well, ending it off with a pretty easy one, and I'm gonna reread Beach Read. A lot of people were disappointed with this book. A lot of people also like it. It's sort of mixed. I was someone who really liked it. I liked how the characters had so much depth. There was angst, there was like funny, good banter, and again, not too much smut or anything like that. Then I think I'm gonna rewrite The Whisper Man. I really enjoyed this thriller, but I don't think I gave it 5 stars. Like, I think there was a little bit missing from this book. I think that the plot twist could have been like bigger and better, so I'll just rewrite that one a little bit. And then I think I'll burn The Bright Lands, even though ultimately I enjoyed this book as well. It kind of went off the rails a little bit. It kind of got pretty crazy, and there are also so many different perspectives that it could be a little bit confusing at times. All right, well, I'll let you go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and watching this tag. Hopefully you guys had fun. I definitely liked doing this, and hopefully I can do more little like challenges and tags like that in the future. Of course, I was not tagged, but I just decided to do it. If you're watching and you want to do it, then I tag you. Please like and subscribe. I try to upload once or twice every week with bookish videos, of course, or sometimes ones about TV shows as well. I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure to check the links in my description if you want to follow me on Goodreads or Instagram or anything like that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!